All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into the legacy of Bruce Lee.
It's kind of wild to think about, Like 80 years after he was born, his impact is still massive.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely incredible.
But there's also this kind of weird thing going on.
Exactly.
Like he's both this celebrated icon and I think like the most ripped off celebrity ever.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, and he really is like this revered figure, but then you have this whole Bruceploitation thing, which is basically a whole genre of films based on impersonators.
Exactly.
His image is literally everywhere, like you see it in video games, merchandise, and even, get this, a Chinese fast food chain.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like his fame almost made him an easy target, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good that his daughter, Shannon Lee, is like this fierce guardian of his legacy, making sure that his message isn't just getting lost in all the noise.
Yeah, and one of the ways that she's doing that is with this Cinemax show, Warrior,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
which is actually based on Bruce Lee's own treatment for a show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So wait a minute, is there like a connection between Warrior and that old show Kung Fu from the 70s? Because
Yeah.
I've heard these rumors about Bruce Lee pitching a show that sounds a lot like Kung Fu.
Oh, yeah.
What's the story there?
Yeah, it's a complicated story even now. It's pretty well known that Bruce Lee was actually considered for the lead role in Kung Fu, but was ultimately passed over. And the reason, his ethnicity.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
It really highlights the prevalent racism in Hollywood at the time.
yeah.
Imagine being Bruce Lee, a martial arts master with this completely unique vision, and then being told you're not right for the role because of your race.
Yeah.
It's really a stark reminder of the barriers faced by Asian actors even today.
Yeah, wow. What a missed opportunity for the studio and everybody.
Totally.
It's kind of poetic justice that Shannon is bringing his vision to life with Warrior all these years later.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So it sounds like Bruce Lee was more than just a one-hit wonder.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You said he had tons of treatments and even a full script that Shannon's developing now.
Yeah, that's right. There could be more Bruce Lee-inspired shows in the future.
Wow.
It's hard to say exactly what those treatments hold, but knowing Bruce Lee, I'd bet on stories that challenge conventions and push boundaries. He wasn't afraid to explore complex themes, even in his martial arts films.
That's so cool. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the potential stories hidden in those archives. What would you be most excited to see adapted?
That's a good question. Personally, I'm really fascinated by his philosophical writings. I would love to see a show that delves into his ideas about self-discovery and personal liberation. Imagine a series that explores the depth of his be water philosophy, bringing it to life in a Mahdi context.
Yeah, before we dive deeper into Warrior, I'm kind of curious about that be water philosophy. How does that connect with his life and work, and why is it still relevant today?
Well, it's about adapting and flowing. Think about water encountering a rock in a stream. It doesn't fight the rock head on, it flows around it, finding a new path. That's the essence of Bruce Lee's philosophy. Adaptability, resilience, and finding creative solutions to life's challenges. And in today's, fast-paced, ever-changing world, those qualities are more valuable than ever.
That's so true. It's amazing how such a simple metaphor can hold so much wisdom. It's no wonder that his philosophy continues to resonate with people decades later. So getting back to Warrior, how closely does it actually align with Bruce Lee's original vision?
It's actually surprisingly close. Obviously, the format is updated for modern television. We're talking serialized drama with more complex narratives compared to those episodic adventures of the 70s. But the core themes, the essence of what Bruce Lee wanted to convey, it's all there.
That's so cool. It must be so incredibly fulfilling for Shannon to see her father's vision come to life in such a powerful way.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a real testament to her dedication and her belief in his work.
It's like she's carrying the torch for him, making sure his message reaches a new generation.
Okay, so let's talk about Warrior Season 2. It sounds like things get pretty intense, like warring tongues, political schemes, tension between Irish and Chinese workers, and the police caught right in the middle. What were some of the standout moments for you?
Oh man, Season 2 is where the show really finds its footing, I think. The action is phenomenal, of course, but what makes it so gripping is the way it explores the complexities of these different communities. The struggles for power and acceptance that feel eerily relevant to today's world.
It's so fascinating how art can unintentionally mirror reality like that. But I wonder, is Warrior just reflecting these issues, or is it actively trying to spark conversations and push for change?
I think it's a bit of both. The show definitely doesn't shy away from portraying the harsh realities of racism, xenophobia, and police brutality, but it also humanizes the characters, showing their motivations, their vulnerabilities, and the difficult choices they face.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the action and the drama. But Warrior reminds us that these issues are ultimately about people, about human lives and experiences. It makes the show that much more impactful.
Absolutely. And you can't overlook the show's commitment to representation, a predominantly Asian cast in an hour-long drama. That's still rare even today.
It's so true. And it's not just about ticking boxes, it's about showcasing the richness and diversity of the Asian American experience. When I think about Bruce Lee's impact on cinema and culture, it's just so heartening to see his legacy being treated with such care and respect.
Yeah.
It's like he paved the way for shows like Warrior to exist.
Totally. And Shannon Lee is incredibly proud of that aspect of the show. She's talked about how important it is to provide multi-layered, complex characters for the entire cast, contributing to positive representation in a truly meaningful way. It's all part of her larger mission to honor her father's legacy in a way that feels authentic.
So it sounds like she's not just managing his legacy, she's actively shaping it, ensuring that it continues to evolve and inspire new generations. So tell me more about this other side of her work. Her new book, Be Water, My Friend, The Teachings of Bruce Lee.
Oh, yeah.
What was her goal with this book? What makes it so unique?
Well, she spent over a year immersing herself in her father's words, trying to distill his wisdom into something accessible and impactful for readers. She wanted to share his philosophy not just with martial arts enthusiasts, but with anyone facing challenges, seeking inspiration, or wanting to navigate life with more fluidity and grace.
It sounds like a deeply personal journey for her. I'm sensing a theme here, adapting and flowing just like water.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating how that idea connects her work on Warrior with her exploration of her father's philosophy in the book.
Exactly, and that's what makes this deep dive so compelling, I think. It's not just about Bruce Lee's incredible life and career, it's about the ways in which his legacy continues to ripple outwards, inspiring his daughter to create, to challenge conventions, and to find her own path.
It's such a powerful reminder that legacies aren't static. They're constantly evolving, shaped by those who carry them forward.
And in Shannon's case, she's carrying that torch with incredible passion and integrity.
I'm curious to hear more of the challenges she faces in protecting her father's image. We talked about the whole Bruceploitation phenomenon, but what are some of the specific obstacles she encounters, and how does she approach them?
Well, you have to remember that Bruce Lee's image is incredibly valuable, and there are people all over the world who want to profit from it.
Yeah, it sounds like a constant battle. How does she even begin to tackle something like that?
From what we've learned, it's a very delicate balancing act. She's fiercely protective of her father's image, but she also wants to be reasonable and open to collaboration. She's mentioned having these really honest conversations with people who want to use Bruce Lee's likeness, as long as they're willing to respect his legacy.
It sounds like a really tough position to be in. On the one hand, you want to protect your father's legacy, but on the other, you don't want to stifle creativity or limit his reach. How does she find that balance?
It's not easy, that's for sure. She has to constantly evaluate each opportunity, weighing the potential benefits against the risks. Sometimes that means saying no, even if it means turning down a lucrative deal. But it also means being open to new possibilities, to finding creative ways to introduce Bruce Lee to new audiences while staying true to his values.
Sounds like a constant learning process.
Yeah.
Navigating this complex web of legalities, business decisions, and artistic integrity. It's impressive that she's able to handle it all with such grace and determination.
Well, she's had years of experience. Remember, she's been at the helm of the Bruce Lee family company for quite some time now, so she's no stranger to these challenges. And she seems to approach them with this really unique blend of pragmatism and passion.
It's a powerful combination.
Absolutely. Speaking of unexpected twists, have you heard about the CW's Kung Fu reboot?
Yeah.
It's kind of been framed as a reclamation of the genre by the Asian community.
Yeah, that's really interesting how they're positioning it. Given the historical context we discussed earlier, I wonder how Shannon feels about that.
Well, her response has been surprisingly gracious. You know what she said? She wished them well.
Really?
Yeah, she's not interested in competition or negativity. Her focus is on creating the best projects possible. And she recognizes how difficult it is to get shows made in the first place.
Wow, that's incredibly mature of her. It shows a lot of respect for the creative process and a genuine desire to see more diverse stories being told.
It really does. And it speaks volumes about her character. She's not letting the past define her or her work. She's focused on moving forward, building on her father's legacy in a positive and meaningful way.
So it sounds like she's not just protecting her father's legacy, she's actively expanding it, pushing it in new directions while staying true to his core values.
Exactly. She's not afraid to take risks, to try new things, and to challenge the status quo. It's like she's embodying that be water philosophy in her own way.
It's really inspiring to see how she's using her platform to not only entertain, but also to educate and to challenge viewers to think differently about the world. It's like she's carrying her father's torch forward, illuminating the path for others to follow.
I love that analogy.
So how does Bruce Lee's wife, Linda Lee Cadwell, feel about Warrior?
You know, Linda Lee Cadwell is actually a big fan of the show. She believes it captures her late husband's spirit and energy perfectly.
That's got to be so incredibly validating for Shannon, to have her mother's approval. What does Linda Lee Cadwell specifically appreciate about the show?
She's particularly impressed with the fight choreography, which she says is true to Bruce Lee's style while also being fresh and innovative. She also loved the complex characters and the way the show explores themes of identity, family, and belonging. She even singled out lead actor Andrew Koji for his performance, saying that Shannon has done her father proud. High praise indeed.
That's amazing. It sounds like Warrior has truly resonated with the people who knew Bruce Lee best. It must be so rewarding for Shannon to see her vision come to life and receive such positive feedback from her family.
It really is. It's like she's come full circle, you know, connecting her father's legacy with her own creative journey.
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes you wonder what's next for her and the Bruce Lee family company.
I was just thinking the same thing. We've talked about her book and Warrior, but what other projects are in the works? What's on the horizon for them?
Oh, well, get this.
Yeah.
They have a ton of exciting projects in the works. And remember, this is the 80th anniversary of Bruce Lee's birth, so it's a major milestone that they're planning to celebrate in a big way.
Right.
We're talking virtual events, tons of online content, special releases of merchandise, and perhaps even some long-lost material from the archives.
Really?
It's a chance for fans around the world to connect and celebrate Bruce Lee's enduring influence.
Hold on, did you say long-lost material from the archives?
Yes.
Like what kind of stuff are we talking about?
That's the exciting part. They're being a little secretive about the specifics. But knowing Bruce Lee's creative output, it could be anything from unseen film footage to handwritten notes to early drafts of his writings. Imagine getting a glimpse into his creative process, you know, seeing the evolution of his ideas.
That is incredible. I am geeking out right now just thinking about the possibilities. And those virtual events sound like they're going to be a blast. What kind of things are they planning?
It's going to be a global celebration with fans from all over the world coming together online to share their love for Bruce Lee. They're planning panels with experts and special guests, screenings of his films, martial arts demonstrations, and even interactive workshops. It's going to be a chance to immerse yourself in Bruce Lee's world and connect with fellow fans.
I am definitely marking my calendar for that.
Yeah.
It sounds like an incredible way to honor his legacy and to introduce him to a whole new generation of fans.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of introducing him to new audiences, they've also hinted at some major announcements regarding potential film and TV projects. Imagine new stories inspired by Bruce Lee's life and philosophy brought to life for a whole new generation.
Now that's what I call exciting news. What kind of projects are they considering? Any details on that front?
They're keeping those cards close to their chest for now, but it's safe to say that they'll be looking for projects that honor Bruce Lee's legacy while also pushing boundaries and exploring new territory. I wouldn't be surprised if they delved into his philosophical writings, exploring his ideas about self-discovery, personal liberation, and the power of adaptability.
I can't wait to see what they come up with. It's so exciting to think about how his legacy will continue to evolve and inspire new generations through these projects.
It really is, and it's a testament to the enduring power of his message.
I'm curious to know more about those museum exhibits you mentioned earlier. Any word on where those might be?
Well, they're currently working on revamping existing exhibits in Hong Kong and Seattle, making them even more immersive and interactive. But they're also in talks with museums around the world to create new exhibitions that showcase Bruce Lee's impact on a global scale. Imagine walking through a museum and encountering Bruce Lee's handwritten notes, his personal training equipment. and original costumes from his films.
That is amazing. It gives me chills just thinking about it. It's a really powerful way to preserve his legacy and to share his story with people who might not be familiar with it.
Exactly. It's about making his legacy tangible, accessible, and relevant to new audiences. And speaking of making his legacy tangible, they're also working on a truly ambitious project, a permanent exhibition space dedicated entirely to Bruce Lee.
Wait, a whole exhibition space?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
It's still in the early stages of development, but they envision a space where fans can immerse themselves in Bruce Lee's world, exploring his life work and the philosophy that continues to inspire millions. Imagine walking through recreations of his training grounds, seeing his personal library, and experiencing interactive exhibits that bring his martial arts techniques to life.
That's incredible. It sounds like a dream come true for any Bruce Lee fan.
It really does. It's like they're creating a physical manifestation of his legacy, a place where his spirit can live on and continue to impact the world.
Wow.
I have goosebumps just thinking about it.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring to see how they're finding new and innovative ways to share his legacy with the world. And let's not forget about the Bruce Lee podcast. I hear it's relaunching soon.
That's right. They're relaunching the podcast in October just in time for his birthday celebrations. It's a great way to connect with his legacy on a more personal level, hearing stories from people who knew him, experts who've studied his work, and fans who've been inspired by him.
I'll definitely be adding that to my podcast queue. It sounds like the perfect way to dive even deeper into his world. It's amazing to see how the Bruce Lee family company is firing on all cylinders, driven by a deep respect for their father and a desire to share his message with the world.
And at the heart of it all is Shannon Lee, the guardian of his legacy, ensuring that his spirit and philosophy continue to resonate in a world that desperately needs his wisdom.
It's incredible to think that even after all these years, his impact continues to grow. He wasn't just a martial artist, he was a philosopher, a writer, a cultural icon whose influence transcended borders and generations.
Yeah.
And his message feels just as relevant today as it did decades ago.
Absolutely. His ideas about self-discovery, adaptability, and breaking down barriers are more important now than ever. It's like he was ahead of his time, offering insights that we're only just beginning to fully grasp.
It's really inspiring to see how his legacy continues to evolve and how Shannon Lee is shaping it with such care and vision.
I agree. It's a powerful reminder that true legends never fade away. Their spirit lives on, inspiring new generations to strive for greatness and to make their mark on the world. And speaking of making a mark on the world, let's move on to our next segment, where we'll delve into the incredible success of Warrior and explore how it's captured the hearts and minds of audiences worldwide.
Let's do it. I'm eager to hear more about what makes Warrior so special and how it's managed to capture the essence of Bruce Lee's spirit in such a compelling way.
You know, Warrior is more than just a show. It's really become this kind of cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's resonating with audiences on like so many different levels, and I think that speaks volumes about the enduring power of Bruce Lee's vision.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. It's like Shannon tapped into something universal, something that transcends time and cultural boundaries. But I'm curious, like, what specifically is resonating with viewers? What are they responding to?
Well, for starters, the action is phenomenal. The fight choreography is this beautiful blend of like traditional martial arts and modern filmmaking techniques. It's brutal, it's elegant, it's just incredibly exciting to watch.
Yeah, I've heard that Shannon worked really closely with the stunt team to make sure that the fight scenes stayed true to her father's style.
Oh, absolutely. She was very hands-on throughout the entire process, making sure that the spirit of Bruce Lee's martial arts philosophy was like woven into every single fight sequence. You know, it wasn't just about spectacle, it was about showcasing the skill, the precision, and the philosophy behind each move.
That's amazing. It sounds like they really went the extra mile to make sure those fight scenes were authentic and meaningful. But Warrior is not just about the action, is it? It also delves into some pretty complex social and political issues, right?
Yeah, it does. And that's what makes it so much more than just a martial arts show. It's a show that uses action as a lens to explore themes of immigration, racism, class struggle, and the fight for identity.
It's like they're using these larger-than-life characters and these incredible fight scenes to hold a mirror up to society, forcing us to confront some uncomfortable truths.
Exactly. And they're doing it with nuance and complexity, you know, showing the gray areas, the moral ambiguities, and the human cost of these conflicts. It's not about simple heroes and villains. It's about people trying to survive and thrive in a system that's often stacked against them.
That's what makes it so compelling. It's not just entertainment, it's thought-provoking. It sparks conversations and challenges us to think critically about the world around us.
And it does all that while being incredibly entertaining. The characters are richly drawn, the dialogue is sharp and witty, and the plot twists keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the kind of show that stays with you long after you've finished watching it.
Yeah, it sounds like they really struck a balance between action drama and social commentary. It's not an easy feat, but they've managed to pull it off brilliantly. And I think that's a real testament to Shannon's vision and her dedication to her father's legacy.
I couldn't agree more. She's managed to create a show that's both a tribute to Bruce Lee and a powerful statement in its own right. It's like she's taken his message of self-expression, of breaking boundaries, and of fighting for what you believe in, and she's amplified it for a whole new generation.
It's really inspiring to see how she's using her platform to not only entertain, but also to educate and to challenge viewers to think differently about the world. It's like she's carrying her father's torch forward, illuminating the path for others to follow.
And she's doing it with incredible passion and integrity. She's not just cashing in on her father's name. She's actively shaping his legacy, ensuring that it continues to evolve and inspire new generations. And I think Bruce Lee would be incredibly proud of what she's accomplished.
I have no doubt about that. It's clear that Warrior is a labor of love for her, a way to connect with her father on a deeper level and to share his brilliance with the world.
It's like she's channeling his spirit, his energy, and his vision through the show. And that connection is palpable in every episode. You can feel the passion, the dedication, and the love that's poured into every frame.
I'm curious, what's the reaction been like from the martial arts community? Have they embraced Warrior, or have there been any pushback?
Yeah, the response from the martial arts community has been overwhelmingly positive. They recognize the authenticity of the fight choreography, the respect for the traditions of martial arts, and the way the show elevates martial arts beyond just fighting.
That's great to hear. It must be so rewarding for Shannon to have that validation from the people who knew her father best and who understand the nuances of martial arts.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about the quality of the show and the way it's managed to capture the essence of Bruce Lee's martial arts philosophy.
So we've talked about the action, the social commentary, the critical acclaim, but at its core, Warrior is also a story about family, isn't it?
It is. It's about the bonds of family, the rivalries, the betrayals, and the sacrifices that people make for those they love.
And those themes are explored through the lens of these warring tongs, these secret societies that operate in the shadows of San Francisco's Chinatown. It's like they're a metaphor for family, both in the literal sense and in the broader sense of community.
Exactly. The Tongs are like these extended families with their own hierarchies, their own codes of conduct, and their own internal conflicts. And those conflicts often mirror the conflicts that we see within real families, the struggles for power, the competition for resources, and the battles over loyalty and betrayal.
It's fascinating how they've managed to weave these complex family dynamics into this gritty underworld setting. It adds another layer of depth and intrigue to the show.
It does. And it makes you wonder, what would a Bruce Lee family drama look like?
Now, that's an interesting question. I imagine it would be filled with, intense training montages, philosophical debates over dinner, and probably some epic family arguments that would make even the most heated Thanksgiving gatherings look tame.
I can picture it now. But in all seriousness, I think it's a testament to Shannon's creativity and her storytelling abilities that she's been able to take her father's legacy and weave it into a narrative that's both familiar and fresh, both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Absolutely. And it makes you think, what other stories are waiting to be told about Bruce Lee's life, about his family, about his impact on the world?
That's what makes this deep dive so exciting. We're only scratching the surface here. There's so much more to explore, so many more stories to uncover. And with Shannon Lee at the helm, guiding his legacy forward with such passion and vision, I have a feeling we'll be hearing a lot more about Bruce Lee in the years to come.
I have a feeling you're right. And with the 80th anniversary of his birth just around the corner, it seems like the perfect time to celebrate his life, his legacy, and his enduring impact on the world.
Absolutely. And speaking of celebrating his legacy, let's shift gears and talk about the Bruce Lee Family Company's ambitious plans to bring his story to life through museum exhibits, film and TV projects, and a permanent exhibition space dedicated to his life and work.
Sounds good to me. I'm eager to hear more about these exciting projects and how they plan to keep Bruce Lee's spirit alive for generations to come. So we've talked about Warrior, the book, the challenges Shannon faces protecting her dad's image. But now let's talk about the future. What's the Bruce Lee family company got planned to celebrate his 80th birthday?
Oh, they are going all out, T. It's going to be a global celebration. Fans from all over the world joining in. We're talking virtual events, tons of online content, special releases of merchandise, and maybe even some never-before-seen stuff from the archives. It's a real chance for fans everywhere to connect and experience the impact Bruce Lee still has today.
You mentioned archives. Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
That's the exciting part.
Yeah.
They're keeping some details under wraps, but it could be anything. Unseen film footage, Bruce Lee's handwritten notes, early drafts of his writings. Imagine getting a glimpse into his creative process, seeing how his ideas evolved.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It'd be like stepping back in time, getting a first-hand look at his genius. What about those virtual events? What are they planning?
Oh, they're pulling out all the stops. Think panels with experts and special guests, screenings of his films, martial arts demonstrations, even interactive workshops. It's going to be a chance to immerse yourself in Bruce Lee's world, learn from those who knew him best, and connect with fans from around the globe.
Wow. It sounds like a really incredible experience. Definitely not your typical birthday party. What else is on the horizon? Any hints about upcoming film or TV projects?
Well, they've been dropping little hints about some major announcements, but they're keeping the specifics pretty close to the vest right now. They have said that they're looking for projects that honor Bruce Lee's legacy while also pushing boundaries and exploring new territory. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some projects that delve into his philosophical writings, bringing his ideas about self-discovery and personal liberation to life in a modern context.
I am so excited. It's amazing to think that his legacy will continue to grow and evolve through these new projects.
And it speaks volumes about the enduring power of his message. His ideas about self-expression, adaptability, and breaking down barriers are more relevant now than ever. He was a true visionary, a man ahead of his time.
You mentioned that they're working on revamping some of the Bruce Lee exhibits in Hong Kong and Seattle. Any details on those?
Oh, yeah. They're really stepping it up a notch, making those exhibits more interactive and immersive. They want visitors to really feel like they're stepping into Bruce Lee's world, experiencing his journey firsthand. Imagine walking through recreations of his training spaces, seeing his personal belongings up close, and even trying out some of his signature moves using virtual reality technology.
That's amazing. It sounds like a truly unforgettable experience.
Oh, for sure. And they're also in talks with museums around the world about creating new exhibits that showcase Bruce Lee's global impact. It's all about making his legacy accessible to new audiences and celebrating his influence on everything, from film and martial arts to philosophy and popular culture.
It's incredible to think about the sheer scope of his legacy. He was so much more than just a martial artist. He was a philosopher, a writer, a cultural icon who transcended borders and generations.
Yeah, and his message continues to resonate with people from all walks of life. He inspired people to challenge themselves, to push their limits, to be the best versions of themselves. And that's a message that will never go out of style.
Okay, now I'm really excited about this one. Tell me more about this permanent exhibition space they're creating.
Okay, so it's still in the early stages, but they envision this dedicated space where fans can fully immerse themselves in Bruce Lee's world. Think of it as like a living, breathing tribute to his life, his work, and his philosophy. They're talking about incorporating interactive exhibits, multimedia presentations, and maybe even a research center where people can study his writings and teachings.
It's like creating a physical manifestation of his legacy, a place where his spirit can live on and continue to inspire people for generations to come.
Exactly. They want to create a destination for fans from all over the world. A place where they can connect with each other, learn more about Bruce Lee, and just be inspired by his extraordinary life.
I can't wait to see it. And let's not forget about the Bruce Lee podcast, which is relaunching in October.
Right.
That's a great way for fans to connect with his legacy on a more personal level, hearing stories from people who knew him and experts who've studied his work.
Absolutely. The podcast is a treasure trove of insights and perspectives on Bruce Lee's life and philosophy. It's a must-listen for any fan.
It's amazing to think that even 40 years after his death, Bruce Lee's impact continues to grow. He's a true icon whose legacy will continue to inspire people for generations to come.
And it's thanks in no small part to Shannon Lee's dedication and her tireless efforts to share her father's message with the world. She's a true guardian of his legacy, and she's doing an incredible job of ensuring that his spirit lives on.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive. We've explored the complexities of Bruce Lee's legacy, the success of Warrior, the power of his philosophy, and the exciting future that lies ahead for the Bruce Lee family company. It's clear that Bruce Lee's impact transcends time and cultural boundaries. He was a true visionary who changed the world, and his message continues to resonate with people from all walks of life.
And for those listening, I encourage you to explore Bruce Lee's work for yourself. Watch his films, read his writings, learn about his philosophy, and discover how his message can inspire you to live a more authentic and fulfilling life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's take a moment to reflect on Bruce Lee's words. Be water, my friend. May we all strive to embody that adaptability, that resilience, and that unwavering spirit in our own lives.
And may we all continue to be inspired by Bruce Lee's extraordinary life and legacy.